Last night, Chicago Sky fired first-year head coach, WNBA legend Teresa Weatherspoon, after finishing 16-27, missed the WNBA playoffs her first year as a head coach. Now, when she got hired about 11 months ago, this was something a lot of people didn't know if it was going to work or not because of her very small coaching experience going on. I originally tweeted last night that I felt, how the Angel found out the same way that I did, but I was informed very quickly that was not the case. Angel and the team did know about the firing the night before, and if you go to Angel's Twitter, you'll actually see she had some subtweets about it. But it doesn't change the very long tweet that she had last night saying that she was heartbroken about it, and the only woman that believed in her and things like that. Obviously, there was some playoff expectations because they made the playoffs the last 5 years. Didn't happen this year. There was a lot of injury concern. Of course, obviously, Angel missed the last couple weeks of the season with that wrist injury. Once they traded Marina Mabry to, I think was it Connecticut that she got traded to?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. She just made a big shot in the playoffs the other night. They went 3-13 after trading her. And there was so many different rotations they used. And of course, obviously, all the on the field, off the court stuff that happened that kind of felt like this just was kind of set up for her to fail. And from what I heard, there were some players who voiced concerns in the players' exit meetings, and maybe that was part of the reason why they let go of her. But for me, this is just a like a head scratching decision to me because I don't know what you expect a coach to do in year one. Like, I feel like somebody with this roster that you have, with the young talent that you have, the lack of draft picks that you have, that you should at least play this out. And I don't think this is a good look when you got your franchise player voicing opinions about this, whether even though she knew about it the night before. Obviously, she wasn't consulted in the decision. That's very obvious. Even though she's a rookie, I do feel like there should have been a conversation if you're going to go this way. And, there's not a lot of teams in the WNBA, and there's a lot of free agents who don't want to come to Chicago, which you see in other teams in the Chicago. Well, we forget that Chicago is such a big market that nobody wants to play there. I think that's a bad look for the organization. It kind of feels like they don't have a plan. And we've seen this with almost every other team in the city. And now you're seeing it with the team that had a lot of promise, with these young stars, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardozo. And I just feel like they're going in the same place that a lot of Chicago sports teams going to. Dante, I'm going to go to you. You're more well-versed in WNBA than I am. What was your reaction to this? And do you think that this is a bad, omen for this franchise?
It definitely caught me off guard. I know, when we did, I had a few WNBA segments, I said, when it was first starting off, like sometimes it looked like she'd be tweaking out there. But I think as the season progressed, you saw she was really trying to see which one of her young players, had what it takes to crack that rotation. And she's really trying to build toward the future because this is a very young team. They tore it down after the championship. But it's disheartening because not only was the firing unexpected, but you've seen other players now year after year after year. Somebody tweeted out a list, and like people don't realize it, but the Chicago Sky have had like some of the best WNBA players leave their team, go to other teams, and win championships. They had Sylvia Fowles, they had Elaine Deladon, they had even with Kalia Copper, she wanted out, like she asked to be traded, like so like people wanted to leave.
Dana Evans asked for a trade too.
Yeah, and Dana Evans was somebody who showed a lot of improvement last year. So when you see these players who are uncomfortable there, it makes you wonder. Even with Gabby Williams, they did Gabby Williams dirty at first. And so, Angel tweeted her after the Olympics, like, come play for the Sky. She was like, nah, I'm good. So
I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, it's setting a bad precedent. So the Angel thing is interesting because, she's somebody that we've seen. She really needs that moral support. And there was a lot of press conferences where you saw Weatherspoon picking her up, whether it was just putting the hand on the shoulder, telling us, all right, same with Cardoso. But they also said, everybody wasn't too happy. So if you have players there, I wonder who said something, because that'll let you know how important that player is. I highly doubt it, but it would be hilarious if Angel made a comment that, kind of led them in this direction, and then she puts this statement out. But with everything we've seen, I think more than anything, the Chicago Sky need to figure out the direction they want to go in and go that way. It's been too much turnover, too many new coaches. I know, like you said, 5 straight playoff appearances before this season. He left for a better opportunity, but I'm sure there could have been some type of incentive, something to keep Roe there, to keep building, because a lot of what they were doing were based off things he had put in motion. So it's gonna be interesting, bro. Because with Angel, she definitely.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that,
and she was not happy. She see what goes with that. She's free agent as well.
For those of you who are listening to the podcast version, they were talking about Trinity Carter.
Yeah, Trinity Carter. But it's gonna be interesting, bro. Because you saw, the relationship between Spoon and Boots. So we'll see how this goes.
Bang, take us on this topic.
Yeah, I don't typically have too big of takes on WNBA because I'm not a heavy WNBA watcher. But on this one, I'm confused. A basketball Hall of Famer with the pedigree of Teresa Weatherspoon, and it was so much pomp and circumstances after her hiring to get rid of her for after 1 year. I want to know what was said in them exit meetings. It had to have been very bad to make a decision like this. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You alienate and however this went down, you alienate your best player or your most notable player, too. So the question that I have is, how do you replace Spoon? And what I mean by that is, with so much pomp and circumstance that you gave, who are you going to replace her with? Whoever they replace her with is going to have to really come with some structure and pull this team together. This team has went to the playoffs for the last couple of years. They have won a WNBA championship. They have talent in the middle. They definitely need a point guard there. But Spoon, I think, was very influential on certain players on that team. Some of them are free agents, and they probably ain't coming back. So it seems like they're going deep in rebuilding, but I believe they have 2 picks in the first round of the draft next year. One high and then one, I think, around like 9 to 10 or something. So they have to go. It looks like they're going to go very young. And with them going young, you have to bring in an energetic coach that's going to bring out the most in those players. So that's what I got.
Definitely going to be a story we pay attention to over this offseason, man, as when the WNBA playoffs wrap up. We'll see what the next move is, man.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah, we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line.